My father-in-law had a sudden cerebral hemorrhage, but my wife, Chloe, took the $30,000 meant for his life-saving surgery and invested it in a wealth management product for her first love. I went to their office and humbly begged her to give me the money for the hospital fees. She erupted in fury. "This is just because you're prejudiced against Julian, isn't it? Is your jealousy so important that you'd use my own father's life as a weapon? Are you that afraid he'll make a profit with your money?" "Julian promised me," she declared, her eyes shining with fanaticism. "In just a little while, this money will double." From behind her, Julian's smooth voice called out, "Chloe, come quick, the stock is rising again." Before I could say another word, she was gone, rushing to his side and planting an excited kiss on his cheek. She shot me a look of pure contempt. "Get lost, and don't come crawling back like a pathetic dog, begging for a cut when we're rich." Later, when she was scammed out of every penny and drowning in debt, she came to me, broken and desperate for money. But when she saw her father's memorial portrait, she finally, completely, lost her mind. "I'm sorry, sir, but we cannot proceed with the surgery until the fee has been paid." The nurse's words were polite but firm. My blood ran cold. Okay, I pleaded, my voice trembling. "I'll get the money together as fast as I can." As she walked away, I frantically redialed my wife Chloe's number for what felt like the 100th time. I had been in the middle of a client meeting when the hospital called. My father-in-law, a cerebral hemorrhage. I dropped everything and raced over, my heart hammering against my ribs. But at the admissions desk, when I went to pay the deposit for the surgery, the card was declined. Insufficient funds. It made no sense. For years, I had worked tirelessly, depositing my salary into that joint account like clockwork. After our daily expenses, even with Chloe's extravagant spending habits, there should have been at least $50,000 in there. How could we not even have $30,000? In disbelief, I tried the card again and again. Each time, the same humiliating rejection. My heart sank. I pulled up the banking app on my phone. The balance was $2.50. A cruel joke. There was only one explanation. Chloe had taken the money. Just as my mind was spinning into a vortex of panic and dread, she finally answered the phone. Her voice was sharp with irritation. "What is it?" I cut straight to the point. "Did you transfer the money out of our account?" Her tone was utterly nonchalant. "Yes, I did." "So what?" "Your father is in the hospital," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "He needs $30,000 for emergency surgery. You need to send the money back right now." A derisive laugh echoed down the line. "Ethan, if you don't want me using the money, just say so. You don't have to make up such a ridiculous lie. Look, I'll pay you back with interest in a little while, all right?" "I'm not lying," I shouted, my desperation mounting. "This is real. He had a stroke at noon today. He's in the emergency room right now, and they're trying to save his life. Every minute counts." I expected panic, concern, anything. Instead, she scoffed again. "Wow, Ethan, your acting has really improved. I almost believed you. But unfortunately for you, I can't give it back right now," she continued breezily. "I've already given the money to Julian. He found this incredible investment opportunity, guaranteed returns, practically a gold mine. Once we cash out, I'll pay you back. It's that simple." Julian. Of course, it was Julian. The world tilted, and for a second, I thought I might pass out from sheer rage. "Chloe, are you listening to me? That's obviously a scam, a pig-butchering scheme." Before I could finish, a man's voice cut in from her end. "Chloe, look, the stock is rising again." I heard her gasp with delight, and then the line went dead. I tried calling back immediately. The call wouldn't go through. She had blocked me. Her father's life was hanging by a thread. There was no more time to think. Outside, a torrential downpour raged, punctuated by flashes of lightning and claps of thunder. Without even grabbing an umbrella, I ran to my car and sped towards Julian's Securities and Finance office. The moment I burst through the door, I saw them. Chloe and Julian, huddled intimately in front of a computer screen. He whispered something in her ear, and she giggled, then leaned in and gave him a soft, shy kiss on the cheek. They looked like a pair of love-struck teenagers. A white-hot fury unlike anything I had ever felt surged through me. Her own father was lying in an operating room, his life uncertain, and she was here, cooing and flirting with another man. I stormed over and shoved him away from her. Chloe yelped in surprise. When she saw it was me, her face hardened into a mask of fury. "Are you insane? What are you doing here?" My hair dripped onto the polished floor, my clothes were soaked through, and I must have looked like something dragged in from the storm. I didn't care. Your father's condition is critical, Chloe, I pleaded. Please, just listen to me. Give me the money so I can pay for the surgery. I hoped, that seeing me like this, hearing the desperation in my voice, would finally break through to her. But she just frowned, her eyes filled with annoyance. Ethan, what is wrong with you? This is all because you're prejudiced against Julian, isn't it? Is your jealousy so important that you'd use my father's life as a weapon? Are you that afraid he'll make a profit with your money? Julian promised me, she insisted. In just a little while, this money will double. Looking at her, so utterly bewitched by him, so lost in her fantasy, I felt a wave of dizziness. If you don't believe me, call the hospital, I begged. If you still don't believe me, call your father. See if he picks up. He has been so good to me. Why would I ever joke about his life? Beside her, Julian adopted a wounded, sanctimonious tone. Ethan, I know you dislike me, but to curse Chloe's father, he's been nothing but kind to you. How could you say such a vicious thing? His words were gasoline on the fire. Chloe's anger flared. I've always known you were jealous of Julian, Ethan. I put up with your petty little tantrums, but this is too much. How dare you curse my father? You selfish, evil bastard, why don't you just die? Seeing her so completely blinded by him, I felt a frantic desperation clawing at me. I pulled the crumpled admission form from my pocket and held it out to her. Look for yourself. If I'm lying, may lightning strike me dead right here. She snatched the paper and glanced at it. Seeing my conviction, a flicker of doubt crossed her face. Julian saw it too. He immediately turned to her, his voice a study in feigned sincerity. Chloe, to think Ethan would go so far as to forge a hospital document just to stop you from investing with me. Maybe I should just give you the money back. I don't want to be the cause of you two fighting. He paused dramatically. It's just, this is a rare opportunity. Once this window closes, a chance to make this kind of money might never come again. The word money was like a magic spell. Chloe's eyes lit up, and the brief moment of hesitation vanished. Her gaze, when it landed on me again, was as sharp and cold as a poisoned dagger. You are disgusting, Ethan. My father has been so good to you, and you repay him by faking his medical records to trick me. Why isn't it you who had a stroke? I'm telling you, if you make me miss this opportunity, I will never forgive you. Her irrationality left me speechless. I wanted to turn and walk away, to leave her to her delusions. But the image of her father, a man who had always treated me like his own son, lying helpless in a hospital bed, kept me rooted to the spot. Every ounce of my pride screamed in protest, but the image of her father, it overrode everything. The sound my knees made hitting the floor was dull and final. Chloe, I am begging you. His condition is critical. We can always make more money, but we only get one father. Seeing me kneeling before her, so utterly broken, something in her finally seemed to crack. A flicker of genuine concern appeared in her eyes. But Julian was too quick. He stepped in, his voice urgent. Chloe, don't fall for his act. He's just scared that you'll leave him once you're rich. He can't stand to see you succeed. He wants you to stay poor with him forever. You have to think clearly. I only offered you a spot because of our history. I have a line of other clients desperate for a piece of this. He feigned reluctance. If you can't commit today, I'll have to give your spot to someone else. Whatever hesitation Chloe had felt evaporated. Something inside me snapped. I surged to my feet and swung my fist, connecting squarely with Julian's jaw. Who the hell do you think you are? When did my family's business become any of your damn business? Julian grunted in pain. Chloe immediately rushed to his side, shielding him protectively. She spun around and slapped me across the face, hard. The crack echoed in the silent office. How long are you going to keep up this act, Ethan? She sneered. My father was perfectly fine when I left this morning. How could he just suddenly fall ill? Now get out of here, and stop getting in the way of my fortune. With that, she tore the medical report in half, then again and again, until it was nothing but scraps. She threw them into the air, and the white pieces fluttered down around me like toxic snow. Julian, are you hurt? She cooed, her voice full of concern as she led him away. Let's go put something on that. As he passed me, Julian shot me a look of pure, triumphant smugness. I was left there, a pathetic, defeated fool. As they disappeared, my phone rang. Mr. Yu? I'm afraid the patient has passed the optimal window for treatment. You should come see him for the last time. My heart stopped. For 2 full seconds, it simply ceased to beat. Then, I was running, flying back to the hospital, the world a meaningless blur around me. By the time I arrived, he was barely breathing. His breath was a shallow whisper, almost inaudible, but I could still make out one name, repeated like a mantra, Chloe. When he saw me, he rallied, summoning a final ounce of strength. Chloe, he rasped. I choked back a sob. She's on her way, Dad. You just have to hold on. Don't lie to me, he whispered, a sad lucidity in his eyes. She's with that boy, isn't she? Julian. He wasn't a fool. He had seen them together before, seen the way she looked at him. He knew. But he loved his daughter too much to confront her, so he turned a blind eye. He felt guilty about what that meant for me, and so he compensated by treating me with an almost excessive kindness. But now, in his final moments, the disappointment was clear. His hand trembled as he reached for mine. When I'm gone, he said, each word an effort. Don't worry about me anymore. Just live the life you want to live. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. He tried to pat my head, a familiar gesture of comfort, but he no longer had the strength. His hand fell to the sheet with a soft finality. He was gone, and his eyes were still open, forever waiting for the daughter who never came. By the time I finished handling the arrangements, it was the next morning. I walked into our apartment, exhausted, my eyes swollen and red, carrying the small, heavy box containing his ashes. Just as I stepped inside, Chloe returned. Her clothes were rumpled, her hair a mess. The faint, sickly sweet scent of wine clung to her. When she saw me, she flinched, her hand instinctively flying up to cover a dark bruise on her neck, a telltale kiss mark, a bloom of betrayal. Before I could speak, she attacked. Where have you been all morning? Don't tell me you were out all night with some slut. I didn't have the energy to respond. All I wanted to do was place her father's urn on the memorial shelf and light a stick of incense. My silence, however, she took as an admission of guilt. She shrieked, blocking my path, her eyes narrowed with suspicion. You lied about my dad being sick so you could take my money and spend it on some whore, didn't you? You better tell me the truth. Where were you last night? I looked at her, my voice dead and flat. Where was I? I was at the crematorium, Chloe, having your father incinerated. She stared at me for a second, then her face twisted in rage. Ethan, you've really lost your mind. It's bad enough you cheated, but now you're saying these things to curse my father? What is wrong with you? Seeing her still so lost in her own world, I let out a bitter laugh. I'm cursing him. Open your damn eyes and see what this is. I thrust the urn towards her. This is your father's urn. Why would I lie about this? If you hadn't taken his life-saving money to buy some stupid investment, he wouldn't be dead. Chloe, when are you going to wake up from your get-rich-quick fantasy? You're a liar, she screamed. My dad was fine. He couldn't just die. She pushed past me and started searching the apartment, calling out for him. Dad? Are you home? Dad, are you sleeping? Dad? Dad? She checked the kitchen, the bathroom, his bedroom, the balcony. Of course, she found no one. He was right there, in my arms. After a frantic search, a real panic finally began to dawn on her face. She spun on me, her eyes wild. Ethan, where did you take him? This is just because you're mad I took your money, isn't it? After all we've been through, how could you be so cruel? I almost laughed at the absurdity. I've already told you, Chloe. Your father had a cerebral hemorrhage yesterday. The surgery failed. He's gone. No, you're lying. It's not possible, she shrieked, shaking her head. She glared at me, her face a mask of hatred. I'm calling him right now. And if you're lying, you are so dead. I watched her, my heart a frozen stone in my chest. Go ahead. Let's see how a dead man answers the phone. Just as she was about to dial, her phone rang. The grim expression on her face instantly melted away, replaced by a soft, tender smile. Her voice became sweet and girlish. Julian? Is something wrong? Of course. It was Julian. Nothing. I just hadn't heard from you. I was worried you hadn't gotten home safely. A blush crept up Chloe's cheeks. I'm home. You're always so thoughtful. Then she remembered. I can't talk right now. I have to call my dad. Is everything okay with your uncle? Julian asked, his voice dripping with false concern. After Chloe explained my lies, Julian's voice was a soothing balm. Don't worry, Chloe. I saw him this morning when I was out for a run in the park. He was perfectly fine. I almost choked. He saw a ghost on his morning run. I listened in cold silence. Really? Chloe asked, a wave of relief washing over her. You're sure it was him? Of course. He even smiled and waved at me. Don't worry. Your uncle is as healthy as a horse. He looked great. After hanging up, Chloe's demeanor switched back in an instant. She glared at me with pure venom. You bastard, Ethan. I almost fell for your pathetic lies. How dare you use my father to trick me? After everything he's done for you. Are you even human? She believed him. Without a second thought, she believed him. But she always did. There was no point in arguing anymore. But I never could have predicted what she did next. She lunged forward, snatched the urn from my hands, and smashed it on the floor. No, a strangled cry was ripped from my throat. The ceramic shattered with a sickening thud. A cloud of gray dust and bone fragments scattered across the floor. You really committed to the role, didn't you? She sneered. Even got some ash to try and fool me. A giant hand squeezed my heart. The pain was suffocating. I couldn't believe she could be this stupid, this cruel. I was shaking with a rage so profound it felt like it would tear me apart. I'll forgive you this one time, for old time's sake, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. But if you ever use my father to lie to me again, you'll be sorry. As she spoke, she did the unthinkable. She ground the heel of her sharp stiletto into the remains of her father. My vision went red. I lunged forward and shoved her with all my might. She stumbled and fell to the floor in a heap. Get out, I warned. In all the years we had known each other, I had never laid a hand on her. She stared up at me from the floor, her eyes wide with shock. You pushed me. My voice was ice. Let's get a divorce. The color drained from her face. What did you say? I said. I knelt, my hands trembling as I carefully tried to gather the scattered ashes. We're getting a divorce. I'll contact you in a couple of days. We'll meet at the courthouse. There was nothing left to say. She scrambled to her feet and grabbed my arm. But I shook her off with a violence that surprised us both. My heart was a wasteland of disappointment. The next day, while sorting through my father-in-law's belongings, I realized his property deed was missing. As I was searching, Chloe called. I assumed it was about the divorce, but her first question was, "Where is my dad?" Before I could even mock her for finally showing concern, her next words sent a fresh wave of disgust through me. What kind of stupid rule is that? Why does he have to be present? I'm his daughter. The house will be mine anyway. Why can't I make decisions about it? Her angry rant, combined with the missing deed, created a sinking feeling in my stomach. Did you take Dad's property deed? I demanded. Yeah, so what? She replied flippantly. I'm his only daughter. The house is mine. I can do whatever I want with it. Now stop wasting my time. I can't reach him on his phone. He's at home with you, right? Bring him over here now. I could feel the blood pounding in my temples. What did Julian tell you this time? Did he tell you to sell the house? Is there some new, amazing investment that requires more money? She stammered a denial, but I already knew the answer. Chloe, I roared into the phone. When are you going to stop this madness? How many times do I have to tell you that Julian is a con artist? And your father is dead. How are you still not getting it? My words, instead of shocking her, only made her more defiant. Are you shameless, Ethan? You've been eyeing my father's house for years, haven't you? You're just too cheap to let me use the money, scared I'll leave you once I'm rich. Do you have to say such horrible things to curse my father? Julian said he saw him. He's fine. How long are you going to keep this act up? Now bring my father to the real estate office, or you'll regret it. She slammed the phone down. That house meant everything to her father. It was filled with memories. I couldn't let her sell it, not after everything else. I grabbed my keys and raced to the real estate management bureau. The first thing I saw was Chloe and Julian, huddled together, whispering and laughing. The sight didn't spark jealousy, only a profound, sickening disgust. She had killed her father with her greed, and now she was going to sell his home to fund her affair. I strode over and ripped her away from him. Ow, she yelped. Seeing me, she scowled. What are you doing now? Where's my dad? I told you to bring him. Dad, I said, my voice dangerously calm. Oh, he's here. Her eyes lit up. Well, bring him out. Julian said there's a small issue with the company's cash flow. We just need a little more capital to unlock our previous earnings. Don't worry, we're just mortgaging the house for a little while. As soon as we get the money, I'll buy it right back. The same pathetic, low-level scam. And she fell for it every time. I took out the black and white memorial portrait of her father and slammed it down on the table. He's right here. The color drained from her face. Her knees buckled, and she would have collapsed if Julian hadn't caught her. Are you even human, Ethan? She shrieked when she found her voice. First you lie about him being sick, then you fake an urn, and now you have a memorial picture made? You just can't stand to see him happy, can you? You just wait, I'm calling him right now. You always relied on being his favorite. Let's see what he thinks of you after this. I was done wasting my breath. She frantically dialed his number. 5 minutes passed. No answer. A real fear finally crept into her eyes. Where did you hide him, Ethan? A wave of numb pity washed over me. Pity for her father, for raising such a blind, foolish daughter. I've already told you, I said, my voice devoid of all emotion. He's dead. I pulled the official death certificate and cremation certificate from my bag and threw them at her. Open your eyes and read. Is that or is that not your father's name? She hesitated, then crouched down and picked up the papers. As she read the words, her legs gave out completely, and she collapsed to the floor. No, it's not possible. How could he be dead? Julian's face changed. He snatched the papers, glanced at them, and then tried to comfort her. Chloe, you know how Ethan likes to lie. These could be forgeries. I swear I saw your uncle yesterday morning. I leveled a cold stare at him. Forged? You're aware that forging an official seal is a federal crime, aren't you? If you had just given me the money for the surgery, maybe these documents wouldn't be real. But you didn't. I turned my fury on Chloe. You didn't believe me. You took every last penny of our savings and gave it to this con man. You stole your father's only chance at survival. You killed him. You're a murderer. I roared, every word a testament to my hatred. If she had just believed me, just a little, just enough to make one phone call. If she had just given me the money, he would still be alive. The pain was a physical weight in my chest. He was thinking of you until the very end. I continued, my voice breaking. He kept saying your name. And you? Not long after he's gone, you're trying to sell his house to give the money to your lover. Are you even human? Chloe was sobbing, shaking her head, mumbling, no, it can't be. You regret it now? I sneered. Now that he's dead? Do you remember how I begged you? I knelt in front of you like a dog, and what did you say to me? You call me a liar. You wished the stroke on me. You were screwing this bastard in bed while your own father was dying. Her heartbroken sobs just made me sick. Her pain was nothing compared to the agony of watching him die, helpless. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. She wept. Sorry for what? Can your apologies bring him back? When I brought his ashes home, do you remember what you did? You smashed the urn. You ground his remains into the floor with your shoe. Do you think he can possibly rest in peace? My words left her as pale as a ghost, great, fat tears rolling down her cheeks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry, Ethan. I thought you were lying. I didn't know. Julian, seeing the tide had turned, tried to intervene. Ethan, calm down. I know you're grieving, but none of us wanted this to happen. Chloe was only trying to build a better life for you both. Before he could finish, my fist connected with his face. Shut your damn mouth. Who gave you the right to speak? I hit him again. You and your shell company, feeding my wife lies, telling her you saw a ghost. You deserve to die just as much as she does. Julian, dazed, tasted blood. You son of a bitch, he snarled, dropping all pretense and lunging at me. But then, something unexpected happened. Chloe, who had been a sobbing heap on the floor, shot to her feet and slapped Julian across the face with a resounding crack. He stared at her, stunned. The woman who had been putty in his hands had just attacked him. She stood in front of me, her eyes red and blazing. That's enough, Julian. He's my husband. I almost gagged. This is all your fault, she screamed at him. If you hadn't dragged me into this, I never would have taken my father's surgery money. He would still be alive. You're the murderer. Give me my money back now. I don't even want the profits. Realizing the game was up, Julian dropped his charming facade. Money? What money? What do you mean? Chloe asked, her voice trembling. He shrugged, a lazy, arrogant gesture. You say you gave me money. Where's the proof? I have the transfer records. That doesn't prove anything. Do you have a contract for the investment? A receipt? I signed. Oh, that, he chuckled. Did you read the fine print? The contract states that you granted me full power of attorney over your assets. I can do whatever I want with the money, including putting it in my own pocket. The shamelessness of his confession finally broke her. You bastard. You scammed me. You're disgusting. He laughed. Me? You cheated on your husband and stole your dying father's money. You're no saint. And your father was a moron for raising such a brainless fool. I hope. Stupidity is hereditary, because there's no point in you being alive. Anyone can tell you a lie and you'll believe it. You really thought I saw your dead dad? He's gone. His words were daggers, twisting in her deepest wounds. I'll kill you, she screamed and flew at him. He grabbed her by the hair. You think you're any better? You were screaming my name in my bed just yesterday. You killed your own father. It wasn't me. It was you. They fought like animals, scratching and clawing at each other while a crowd of onlookers gathered, their initial curiosity turning to disgust. In the middle of the brawl, several uniformed police officers entered. Which one of you is Julian Yang? We've received a complaint that your company is involved in fraudulent activities. We need you to come with us. Julian's bravado vanished. Officers, there must be some mistake. I'm a model citizen. Chloe, her clothes torn and hair wild, immediately pointed at him. I'll testify. He's a con man. I'll tell you everything. The police took them both away. Watching them, who had been so close just hours before, now tearing each other apart, I felt a grim satisfaction. They both deserved it. A few days later, the verdict came down. Julian's company was a complete sham. He had defrauded people out of nearly $500,000. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. As for Chloe, a video of the fight at the real estate office had gone viral. She had become infamous. People recognized her on the street. She came to find me. She knelt at my feet, clinging to my legs, her voice choked with sobs. Ethan, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Can we start over? My dad would have wanted you to take care of me, she pleaded. You can't let him down. My parents were so good to you. Are you just going to let their only daughter suffer? I looked down at her, my heart cold. You're wrong. His last wish wasn't for me to take care of you. It was for me to live my own life. And the life I want is a life without you in it. Let's get divorced, Chloe. Tears streamed down her face. I don't believe you. You've loved me for so many years. You can't just stop. All the love in the world can be eroded by disappointment. What does love matter now? I asked. Can it bring your father back? Go away, Chloe. I don't want to see you again. I turned and left her weeping on the sidewalk. A few days later, after lighting the morning incense for her father, I received a call from the police department. Is this the husband of Chloe Chun? A body was found this morning. A suicide. The DNA matches Ms. Chun. We need you to come and identify her. Our investigation also found that she had taken out dozens of high-interest online loans, totaling almost $200,000. We believe she jumped due to the pressure of the debt. Please come to the city precinct when you have a moment. I took a deep breath. I understand. Thank you for letting me know. After I hung up, I bowed deeply to my father-in-law's memorial portrait. At the station, after I had identified the body and handled the paperwork, an officer handed me a sealed envelope. A suicide note she had left at the scene. I held it for a moment, this final, desperate plea from a ghost. Then, without reading a single word, I let it fall into a public trash can on my way out. The past was dead. It was time for my life to begin,